We are the Swifties, there is no doubt. We're over 50, don't count us out. We are in our best era yet. It's amazing and it's different. We are the Swifties, there is no doubt. We're over 50, so don't count us out. Welcome to the Swiftie Over 50 podcast, celebrating every era of midlife magic, real stories, and our fabulous community, all while screaming the lyrics to Cruel Summer, the live edition. I'm your host, Neil Aaron, and this is Swiftie Over 50. So for our first episode, our first full episode, I get to welcome one of my friends who's an amazing Swiftie. But first, I should put out there that as with the learning curve of doing a podcast for the first time, I hit record on the audio and visual, but the video did not record. So you are getting the audio today. There will be I will be putting photos and stuff of the recording up in the video, but you're not getting the actual video this time. But all the other times it worked. So I promise from now on, you will get video, full video of every interview we do. So let me tell you about my first guest. My first guest is very special to me. She is the Swiftie I go to events with. She is the Swiftie who is over 50 and my pal and friend and confidant in all things Swiftie. Her name is Anna David. You may recognize her because she is a best-selling author of the book Party Girl, and she is an incredible writer. She also is an entrepreneur. She started her own publishing company called Legacy Launchpad, and it is fabulous, and she's helping all people all over the place, you know, being able to publish their work, and it's just fabulous. And she's really carved her own path around that stuff. She's done TED Talk X. She just wrote an amazing article for The Cut for New York Magazine about being a mother over 50 to a little toddler and having trouble finding mommy friends. It's actually a really, really great article. You should read that. So without further ado, let me welcome my friend and wonderful Swiftie, Anna David.
I'm talking about Taylor Swift. I don't care about that other stuff. The rest of the time I do. And that's part of the magic of her.
It is. So is there a particular song that you like to scream the lyrics to?
Changes all the time. It's so funny. This morning, we have a friend whose daughter made me this really incredible chip that had the stones from each album. And my friend said, "Oh, and I loved it since your favorite song is Bejeweled." And I'm like, that is so quaint that you think my favorite song from a year and a half ago is still my favorite song. That is adorable. Right now, this is why we can't have nice things. Oh my God, to drum in the car. Oh, and the one, sorry, I'm forgetting. What's the one that about the narcissists love me? I don't like a narcissist, but they love me. So I fly them all around the world and I make them think they save me. What's that song?
Yeah. Good question. Because now, of course, I'm blanking.
Yeah. So those are the ones right now that I love to sing the most. Oh, and Canceled.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is what I love about her music is that you can really love some songs and not particularly care for other ones. And then your friend loves those other songs.
Eldest Daughter.
Well, I love Eldest Daughter.
That's my point.
Yeah. And I'm not huge on Canceled. Do you know Betty is my least favorite song probably. And I have a friend that loves that song.
Julia Roberts' favorite song from Taylor Swift. When you look at Taylor Swift content, and you can attest to this, you are served every bit of Taylor Swift content. So I know so much trivia, like Julia Roberts' favorite Taylor Swift song is Betty, because that was her mother's name.
Well, and I have done the deep dive of Swifties Over 50, and Julia Roberts obviously is on that list.
Yes. Do you know this? You obviously know the story about how she came to one of the shows and they said to her, "We want you on stage." And she was wearing the same outfit that she just worn on like Ellen. And so she said, "People are going to say I have no other clothes." So they said, "We'll give you a Taylor Swift shirt." And she went on stage in a Taylor Swift shirt and said she looked like some kind of a I don't know. She was much funnier about it than I'm being right now, but that's because I'm trying to tell a story I don't remember. Um, yes, she is a Swiftie, as are many.
As are many.
Yes.
Many. I mean, we were just talking with another one beforehand.
Yeah.
And it's just, and what was interesting is she said that Eras was when she first really came into it. When did you come into it?
Yes, and she and I had that experience together. My gateway drug was the 10-minute All Too Well. I had awareness, obviously, about Taylor before, and I think I had what I witness in other people as the, let's just say, incorrect perception. I know everyone's perception is their perception, but until you get it, I liken it to finding God. Because before you get it, you're just like, oh, that's for stupid people. And then you get it, and you're like, I'm totally fine with you not getting it, but I remember that phase. And to me, it was just like, I don't know, she's got like feathered hair. I don't like feathered hair, and I don't like country music, and like what? Ugh, I don't get it. Then I would sort of have a couple songs that I liked. I weirdly was into Mean, which is like not a great one, but it was just what I was exposed to. And then the 10-minute version of All Too Well happened to me. And it described the breakup that broke me in ways that I've never been able to describe myself, that I still can't describe myself. I'm a writer who wrote for decades about sex and relationships and love and all those things. And I couldn't believe how so casually cruel in the name of being honest. Like I heard that, and I was just, and then I just, and then, I have this weird thing too, which is, I have, because it's LA, 6 degrees of everything. In the 90s, I interviewed to be Jake Gyllenhaal's mother's assistant. And I sat in their house, and she interviewed me. She didn't hire me.
Does he have twin bed?
Well, and I remember her saying, because it was right when he had done his first movie or something. And she's like, my son is a movie star. And I remember being like, that's dreaming, lady. And then actually my drama teacher in high school, who was the only person who ever believed in me, I'm really making this about me and I apologize, but he put in one of my report cards, this young lady has it and it's only a matter of time before the whole world sees it, which was the exact opposite of the way my family treated me and really like the way I felt. And he then moved to that school here, I forget, Crossroads maybe, and was discovered Jake and Maggie. Like he was their drama teacher and they credited him all the time. And so anyway, so I felt when I heard that song and I was like, wait, and I interviewed Maggie when I worked at Premiere and, I was like, wait, I could see the twin bed and I could see the photo albums and all the things. And something happened to me that I really, just like my relationship with God, that I can't really explain, but I've never been the same. Yeah. Then I will say, I was into it, and Rebecca noticed because every time she got in my car, I was playing that song. And she's like, yeah, my daughters are really, I have a daughter who's really into Taylor Swift. She's like, I don't really get it. And then I kind of got over it. And this is like such a weird thing, but I remember I watched the Grammys the year that she kind of seemed kind of drunk. And do you remember when she did that over Jack Antonoff's head? Yeah. And I kind of didn't like it. And I remember saying to our friend's daughter, I was over there for dinner, and I was like, I don't think I like her anymore after she got like drunk at the Grammy. She was being such a dork. And I just remember the look on her face, and it's kind of the look I give people now when they kind of were into it and aren't. And she was just like, she was tipsy. So she was like mad. And then the mom, Rebecca, bought us, the two of us, tickets to the Eras Tour movie because we did not go to the show. And when she and I saw that and danced throughout, I walked out and I said, I understand now why people do ayahuasca. I just had that experience. And again, now I've truly never been the same.
Was that the moment you realized you're a Swiftie?
Yeah, I mean, All Too Well, I was identifying as a Swiftie, but I think I moved to a different level because I think a Swiftie is different than maybe what you and I are.
What do you define them as, the difference between them?
It's I would say I think about my son 40% of the time, my career 10% of the time, and the rest of the time about her. Yeah. I spend so much time thinking about her, and I never get sick of it. So I don't think that can be categorized by that's an obsession.
Yeah, it's interesting because I originally told you the idea of Swiftie over 50,
Yep.
and as we've talked about it, there's so many phenomenons within the phenomenon. And the Eras tour on its own was a phenomenon.
Yes.
And that was on its own like this whole other thing that has never been done and will never be done again. That just
It could be done by her again, something like that.
a version of, but could
Don't know.
I think she would reinvent a new phenomenon.
Right.
You know, and the idea of there's all these people out there like us who are over 50
Yeah.
and feel this way, but it's kind of hard. Like a lot of my friends think it's cute that I feel this way, but they don't feel this way.
Yes.
And when you do find someone who connects this way, it makes you feel seen.
Yes.
And that like that's part of the point of this podcast
Yes.
is for us to be seen and to connect with each other. And we went to that Swiftie event. Are you thinking what I'm thinking about? Yes. Would you like to tell the story?
So you say to me, and it's probably at least a month before Showgirl comes out, oh my God, there's a Swiftie event, and it's in Burbank, where I live. We have to go, and you got tickets. We should, our antennas should have gone up at free. You know what I mean? They didn't. And I said, oh my God, this is so smart, because it's the week after the album comes out. So they're giving us a full week to learn all the lyrics. And then we didn't know what it was going to be. Another red flag.
Learning the Fate of Ophelia dance.
You were learning the dance.
I was sure I was going to get quizzed.
Yeah, no, we were going to have to perform. I was ashamed I hadn't learned it. And then so a red flag. We didn't know what it was, and it was not clarified anywhere.
Nowhere in any of their PR
promotional material, Instagram, any of it. I would say that's a little bit of a Burbank phenomenon. I feel like I've gone to a few things where it's just not explained what it is, and you have to learn as you go. And I bought an outfit, and you wore the shirt that you wore to the show, and we show up, and it was a bit of a flea market, a night market, with maybe like 15 vendors selling Taylor stuff, and but the coolest part is that any event that has that, whatever you call it, where you stand on a circle and the phone circles around, and it makes it present as you were at the most fabulous thing that ever occurred. So you and I did that, so we at least knew we could post it, and people would go, oh my God, what Taylor Swift event were you at? But we met these people. Do you want me to keep telling the story?
Yeah, keep telling the story, because you actually prompted. I was like, those are our people. They're over 50, like they're here. Look, they're dressed up. They're excited. They're like, and you had the chutzpah to say like, let's go interview them.
So when he says these are our people, I would estimate these women were in their late 70s,
Easily,
80s,
possibly,
holding cats.
Totally.
Okay. And after we do the picture thing, we see them.
I forgot about the cats.
They were holding cats. And it was just, where else would you see that? And so I guess age is a funny thing, and you are it's funny because we said the name of the podcast to our friend. I saw her face go, age is a funny thing. And so to go up to somebody and say, oh, we're interested in this topic of Swiftie over 50, I assume you are that, could be risky. But turns out they were sisters. They were the loveliest people. They were so touched when we said, because we didn't know what this project was going to turn into. And we said, can we interview you? And they were just lit up and told us all about their experience. And one of them had just overcome a horrible form of cancer. I can't remember now. And said that, Taylor was like what brought her back to life, and that was how and I was like, that's how I want to be at 80.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I was thinking the other day too about the over 50 Swiftie, which is, you know, we've been through life.
Yeah.
And not that you can't have been through life at 14, because I know plenty of 14-year-olds that have had a really difficult trauma happen at that age. But at our age, like, many of us have had cancer. Many of us have lost parents or children or friends or other things. It's like we're in our midlife magic right now.
Right.
But in that magic is loss and grief.
Yep.
And other things, and how this music and Taylor herself connects us with that.
Yep.
Did you finish the documentaries?
No. And I watch TV in a, because we have a toddler. But I watch TV in fits and starts. You and I watched the first 2 episodes.
Right.
That was the first time I'd sat down to just watch an episode. I watch it as I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was either 5 or 6. At 5 is Marjorie.
Yeah,
It's called.
I'm on that one.
Okay, so that one is all about loss and grief, and how, again, how Taylor's lyrics can completely connect and hit this feeling that we have inside, no matter what you've experienced. She's nailing it with the lyrics.
Yeah.
And you feel like did she write that for me? Like,
right.
that's like, I mean, when I went through my breakup right when Tortured Poets came out, I mean, I told you, like, I couldn't listen to the album because I said, I can't handle a breakup album. I can't stop crying. And I said to my friend, I'm crying at the gym. That's how bad this is. And she said, oh, well, then you need to hear Down Bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And I did. And I was like, I feel like I'm a songwriter. I feel like this is how I write a song. I start with a metaphor, and then I go into the specifics, and I say things that are specifically not been said before in a song, but everyone can relate to. So crying at the gym is something that, like, everyone can relate to, but it's never been in a song before. So it's part of the brilliance.
Yeah. I mean, when I say I spend, 40% of my time thinking about her, a lot of the time is spent how does this creature exist? And episode 5 does seem to explore that. I'm only at the beginning. And who knows? I told you that there was that thing I saw posted where it looks like her in the George Michael video, in the father figure video. There's and I'm like, so, is this proof of alien spirits? Like, is this proof of, like, how does one person get so talented? How does one person get this ability? And not only this ability with words, but this ability with melody. And as we now see, this ability with charm, and to go on shows, and this ability with friendship, and these things. And, clearly part of it, a huge part of it, is family. And, our hero, Andrea Swift, the world's hero, Andrea Swift. And
everyone's mom.
I've learned about parenting from her. I didn't know, I mean, a lot, but, it's like I was not mothered in that way at all. And I think one of the things that trips me out the most is, like, you can talk to your mother about, like, dating and not feel ashamed. That's her go-to person.
Yeah.
And, like, that just blew my mind that could be somebody who could offer you solace.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of that documentary was seeing her backstage, figuring out the acoustic set, and having her mom sitting there, and her mom's either on the phone or just hanging, and they're talking, and there's that feeling of, like, the world doesn't exist outside of that room.
Yeah.
And she's creating, but her mom, it's like, it's her mom. And it's like the mom, like I said, everyone's mom. It's like the mom everyone would want to have.
Yeah.
And you're right. Her parents, I know people that have met the parent, they're like, oh, Scott is the nicest guy in the world. And he can walk in a room and just, like, make everyone happy. And, like, he's just so charismatic and kind. That's the thing, is there's this level of kindness that is woven in that family, and that she brings to, I mean, when I watched that part about, like, bonus day, and I looked up some of like what those tips are.
I don't know what bonus day
Bonus
is.
day, I think it was in the one we saw, but
Tell
it
me.
was when she writes out the thank yous to everyone
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
gives them out,
bonus. Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
the bonus day.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that level of kindness and generosity is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And she's already paying them top dollar.
Yeah.
But then to be changing their lives
Yeah.
forever.
What did you hear about the amount? Because there were lots of theories.
Okay. So I'm going to go by dancers.
Yes.
Okay.
I wonder if it's the same number I have.
So the dancers, their fee was anywhere from 100 and something to 375 just for the entire tour.
Uh-huh.
And the bonus was up to $500,000.
I heard 750.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say I heard, I probably saw it
And
on social
750
media.
might even be like the bonus plus the but here's the thing, that's like a bonus was 500. So like who knows, there were several bonuses
Oh, wow.
throughout.
Yeah.
Because it was at the end of each leg. So okay, we just did Europe bonus, we just did America bonus, So that kind of I mean, that's life changing.
Yeah.
For a truck driver to get $100,000 check.
Yeah, I remember hearing back when that happened that there are truck drivers who were like, my kids are going to go to college. They're going to be the first in our family lineage to go to college because of her.
Changing lives and doing it just because, one of my best friends, she's a social worker and she's just really spiritual and down to earth, and I was telling and I'm turning her into a Swiftie.
Good.
Because she's now watching the docs,
Mhm.
and before that she's never been interested. And I said, she tips these people, and she goes, yeah, she does that because she actually understands that without them doing their job, she can't do her job.
Yeah.
And that it's that simple. And I'm like, yeah, but even though people know it, they are not willing to actually put it into action of gratitude.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that comes up in the doc a lot. It's such a surprising thing again and again, the way she keeps calling it sort of a group activity.
Right.
And, as if she's no more important than the lights, than every dancer. And the part of the doc that I saw last night was her saying, and the family talking about like, without my family this does not happen. And this idea, that we've now heard her say a few times about like, likening Travis has a coach and she has her mom. And it's so interesting to watch, that dynamic that you were talking about where she's working out the set and Andrea's sitting there. It doesn't look like Andrea's doing anything special. Right. And she says, and I don't have a creative bone in my body. I don't know how she does this, but it's her mere presence, because she's clearly not offering musical tips.
No, like I said, sometimes she's texting on her phone or whatever.
She's talking about how to make a turkey.
Right.
And and she thinks Hits Different is a love song.
Right.
But so it's not that, to have a coach, because a football coach is somebody who probably played football, I assume. So in Taylor's mind, a coach does not need to have experience with what you're doing. A coach needs to offer love, support, attention, presence. What an interesting idea that is. And and it's sort of like Andrea sort of acts like, well, I mean, it sounds like it's true. The talent skipped a generation. Her mother had it. And, how touching was that? The footage of the piano and the grandmother.
I cried.
If I wasn't medicated, I would have sobbed.
Right.
But just because that much support a child getting. How
well,
beautiful.
The thing is that for me, my personal story as a songwriter, as a performer, as all that stuff, when I was a kid, my grandmother was my biggest fan. And she was the one that was always pushing me and calling me, you're my star, you're all this stuff. And when I was a kid and wanting to go on auditions and my mom not letting me, and, wanting piano lessons and my mom not letting me, and guitar lessons, my mom not letting me, it was like my grandmother was always pushing for that. And she's always been that presence. So that whole connection with Marjorie, and that was so special. But for Andrea, it's like she understands on a spiritual level that her purpose
Yes.
is to be the support of that.
Yes.
And that's what she's a master of.
Yeah. And it's like she kind of talks about it like this is the family business. Some
Right.
people, I knew a girl who her family had a popcorn business, that she was in the family business. This is the family business. And what a wise choice that was.
Yeah.
And, Taylor said at 11, we have to go to Nashville because that's where Faith Hill got discovered. And can you imagine listening to an 11-year-old? And because they had great careers, they lived on this Christmas tree farm. And the three of them, because I consider Austin like part of the thing, are just like, okay, let's do that. Like, we believe in this so much. So it's almost like getting that level of belief in you and doesn't make you spoiled. It makes you able to believe in the masses that much. Because that's what's also special. It's like somehow we all feel seen by her. And she like believes in us.
Yeah.
How cheesy is that? And I remember it's different, but it is adjacent because she's friends. Like I remember when Lena Dunham came out with Girls, and I loved Girls so much, and people were so ruthless about her because they were so jealous that a 25-year-old could have that level of success. And I just, was obsessed with her, so learned about her family. And I was like, don't be jealous of her success. Be jealous of that parenting that gave her that kind of confidence to nurture that talent. Because there's millions of people with that kind of talent, probably not that level, who just didn't get that.
I didn't get that. I mean, I'm not saying I have that level of talent, but
Yeah.
my point is that, for me growing up as a creative, I was always told that it's too hard.
Yeah.
You won't make it.
Yeah.
It's not, focus on something else instead of this is who you are. Let me nurture it.
Yes. And I've, I can't even tell you, every time I said, I want to be a writer, they would just go to law school, go to business school. And I think it was like my fourth book from HarperCollins came out. And I said to my dad, hey, I said I want to be a writer and I'm a writer. And he just goes, took you long enough. So there was never going to be, and yet I understand in their way, they're trying to tell, they don't want their child to suffer disappointment.
Right. And they don't want their child to fail, and they don't want their child to not have an income.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I understand it from their point of view too. I just also think that there's a way to have both.
Yeah. I mean, I would say my life is that. My thing with creativity was I was determined to make it as a writer, I think because they were so discouraging. And I did, and I had a great career as an author and as a journalist, and then publishing changed. And I was as lost as everyone else I know doing it, and I tried everything, and after about 5 years of major struggle, I was able to find this way to use my creativity to have an extremely lucrative career. And I feel so lucky that I'm not trying to make it as an artist anymore. And to some people, to my friends who are still trying that, I think, not that they think it's sad, but that they're like, oh, that's too bad. It's like one of the glorious experiences to be able to use your creativity without the gatekeepers, to just go, this is how I'm going to use my creativity. I make the deal. I'm not waiting for anyone to tell me it's good enough. Making a podcast is that. I'm not waiting for a radio show or whatever.
Right. All my endeavors have all been independent.
Yeah.
My first album, my second album, independent. I'm the record producer. I'm the, I paid for everything.
Yeah.
I oversaw everything. I wrote all the music. I did all the things. And, now I'm just finishing. I just finished my script and my pitch deck for my kids' TV show. It's like, that kind of stuff. Like I'm creating it, and then I'm in control after, because I can't wait. Like this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I'm not going asking people, can I do a podcast?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And then it's there. Has there been something that Taylor has done or sung about in a lyric or anything that has sparked a creative project of yours, or a sense of compass around anything?
It's an interesting question, because I don't know that it's ever sparked a creative project, but it sparked so much in my life and how I approach life. I think the most meaningful thing to me about the way she behaves um, is this ability to have adversity change her for the better. Because I've seen in my life so many people where adversity destroys them or changes them for the worse, sends them more into their ego. So this is someone who was like done, but way before I knew about her. But in those whatever years she went to England and Kim Kardashian and all that, she was done. There was no more, and the career was over. And then to come back, to have used that time to do whatever healing or whatever needed to happen and to continue to do creative work and to come back as the strongest entertainer in the history of entertainment, what kind of a message does that give? Wow. Like struggle, we can all give lip service to, pain is the touchstone of spiritual growth and all that stuff. But it's like, look at what that can do if you do it right. If you let it destroy the less effective parts of you and nourish the most effective parts of you.
And let's, for a moment, think about what you just said and layer on top of it what, as I was watching, the concert again, and the Eras tour. I mean, it's not just a concert.
Yeah.
But, and I'm watching the Reputation set, and I'm watching her, when she comes out with "Are You Ready For It?" I mean, and it's like you hear the clicks of the boots, and and then she comes out in that snake costume, and which, by the way, the part of the documentary where they showed people's reaction when she switches,
I know, it was hilarious.
I laughed so hard.
It was hilarious
because it's just like, I'm like, these people are losing their minds.
Yeah, they make my obsession look like nothing.
Right. But the fact that she took that adversity, that being beaten down and not knocked down and being called a snake, and there she is in the most successful show ever wearing a snake costume and theming it that way is so badass.
I know.
It's so badass, and it's so creative and so artistic, and it's so taking back her narrative.
I know. And I will say one other thing that, despite my working a spiritual program, vengeance is a big thing with me. And it's a big thing with her too.
Yeah.
And she does nothing better than revenge. And her revenge is living well.
Yes.
Her revenge is getting you in a song, getting the whole world against you. And then I don't know, I respect it. I think forgiveness might be overrated because, I mean, it's not. But what she does then is your karma for life is ruined because karma's her boyfriend. So Scooter Braun seems to be coming back. God knows what's really happened to Scott Borchetta. We know what's happened to Kanye. I'm confused about Kim Kardashian because what she did was so wrong.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. I was just like, she purposely.
I spent a lot of time thinking about this. I mean, let's just say again, I don't know her. I'm not a doctor. Was in a relationship with a very sick person who probably, and I have
manipulated.
Well, and I've seen firsthand when someone's in a relationship with a sick person and they have to do what that sick person demands.
Right.
But again, that was a personal choice.
Right.
So there's something about, and it's very much tied to what I was talking about with, the adversity kills you and then makes you come back to life. There is something about that, and that's one of the reasons I love father figure so much is this just like axe into Scott Borchetta over and over and over again. And it's like, you made a deal with this devil.
Right.
You thought you were screwing me. Well, you didn't know what screwed was.
Right. And that brings up something as a songwriter that I love about her songwriting is that many of her songs start off with one narrative and then she's the narrative saying the same thing. So almost like in No Body, No Crime.
Mm-hmm.
How it's like the same chorus over and over, but it's a different perspective each time.
Yes.
And it's, there's other songs where she does that, and then she sometimes mixes it together, like I'm gonna get you back.
Yeah.
And it's like, on one hand, it's like, I'm gonna get you back, like I'm gonna get you back,
But I'm going to get you.
and then the other one is, I'm gonna get you back.
Yeah.
And it's the same words,
Yeah.
but a totally different meaning. And she does that through, and that's a good example in father figure.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I heard her talking about, I'm just not a fan of eldest daughter, but she was talking about how she did it in that, um, the perspective shift. In terms of her songwriting, I know nothing about music. I don't know how to read music. I, was put in like recorder and violin and I hated it. But it's interesting. I told you I'm reading this book and I cannot remember what I read Good Ideas and Power Moves, which is an amazing book title, for a book about Taylor Swift. I cannot remember what this one I'm reading right now is called, but like, it's really brilliant. She's a professor who teaches a class in Taylor, and she understands music so well. So she describes, you would love this book, lyrically and the notes and why they're so brilliant. But like I said, I as a writer, I understand the concept of trying to craft thoughts into the perfect writing, but I'll never understand music. And yeah, this ability blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, and interestingly enough, like I'm a lyricist first.
Yep.
So my first 2 albums, 100% lyrics, mine, melodies and other stuff I co-wrote with someone. This new project I'm working on, I'm doing it 100% myself because I'm finally at 50 years old, I paid for myself to have a piano teacher, which was something my parents didn't do. And I'm fine. And I was blocked my whole life because of it. And I finally at 50 broke free. And I came back from the Eras tour. I saw it in Milan on my 50th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
That was my gift to myself. And I came back and I paid for piano lessons.
Not just the ticket there and the concert ticket, but also piano lessons.
And I have learned how to compose music. And the way that he was teaching me is to meet me, like any good teacher, is to meet me where I'm at, which is to find out what's interesting to me in order to learn from there. And I said Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And we sat there and we would break down her songs and the song structure and everything. And that's when another piece of it clicked for me of the brilliance behind these songs. It's the lyrics, 1000% for me. But the music, like the song structure, like, oh, I'll do a double bridge here, and I'll do like it's like I'll do one chorus, a chorus 1, a chorus 2, a chorus, and I'm like, what does that mean? And it's like, oh, she says this, it's the same melody and almost the same words, but not the same words, like in Exile or something like that, where I always, when I'm singing it, I always, is it, in my town or is in my crown or whatever, like, because it switches, but it's the same melody. And there's that brilliance to that structure, with her, the way she does an outro, all this stuff. And like, obviously she's most known for the bridges. Yeah. Those bridges kill me. They're like so good. They're so good.
I know. I didn't know what a bridge was until, I started. Jim my boyfriend's like a musician. He had to explain to me what it was. But this thing about the same lyrics with a couple words switched. I do the same thing with, my current obsessions. This is why we can't have nice things. The one about the narcissist and the plane, like she's switching them up and I cannot seem to get them straight. And I'm like, how does she? Because you remember in Miss Americana, she talks, it was so funny too, because until that documentary, I didn't really picture musicians on their phones. Like that's how they're recording. It was like, so I don't know, that she's writing on her notes, and she's like, oh, I got to memorize. Like in addition to all the incredible things she did in the tour, she's memorizing all of that. I can't even memorize it, having heard it 10,000 times.
I know.
Let alone dancing and doing all the things.
I can't even remember my own songs. Like I've literally like had to practice before going on stage because I'm like, I'm going to forget the lyrics. And I wrote the song. Yeah. And I recorded it and I sang it 100 times and I still don't know my own lyrics. Yeah. But she's influenced my songwriting for my new project. Yeah. Because I have this song about when I fell in love for the first time at 49,
Right.
like truly fell in love. And the first verse starts with, I can't believe this is happening. And the first verse is about like, I can't believe I'm falling in love. Like, I can't believe this is happening. And then the second verse is, oh, you're getting a job overseas and moving away. I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
And then the ending is, you just got on a flight and this is over and I'm dead inside. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
And it's like the same, and I'm like, that's Swiftian to me.
Yes. Yes. Taking a phrase and giving it 3 different meanings in one song.
Right.
Yeah, and that also makes me think of the rivalries, the alleged rivalries. And Olivia Rodrigo, who I'm a huge fan of as well, she grew up a Swiftie. Are you an Olivia Rodrigo?
Yeah.
And there was a song, I don't even remember the song, but that Taylor and Jack Antonoff went and said that's her song, whatever, sued. I don't remember the details. And then, Olivia Rodrigo has a song called Get You Back. And Taylor's came out afterwards. I don't understand, obviously, that I would not say any of that's been well publicized. So, and I certainly don't know the details, but that is one aspect of Taylor Swift that confuses me. There was a lot of commentary on Showgirl that music was derivative of other people's songs.
You
were leading the charge.
I got in your car that day that album came out, and I went off on The Life of a Showgirl being a Jonas Brothers song.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, now I love that song.
Oh, the song is epic.
Yeah.
You remember you were trying to tell me the end was a problem.
I still don't like the end because I don't like talking at the end, because the first time it's cool and after a while it's kind of like, I've gotten used to that, but then I listen to the acoustic version that doesn't have it. So
Right. That was handled in a very interesting way because, she made a big deal about getting the George Michael estate to approve. I don't know enough about music to know what is considered derivative, what is considered stealing. I don't know. I do know that the immediate reaction to that album was so negative by so many people, and they've all eaten their words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I think like with my experience too is that I have to hear the album many times before it clicks for me. So when I listened to Tortured Poets the first time, I was not into it. And I said, this is her worst album. And I couldn't even get through it because it was 31 songs.
Yep.
Which I don't know if this is like one of those Swiftie things. Did you know that like there's 31 days in the month, and so whatever your birth date is that's your theme song?
I've
so like
heard
I'm
that.
the smallest man in the world or whatever.
Oh my God.
Like,
Smallest man who ever lived.
The smallest man who ever lived. But yeah, because there's 31 songs, so it kind of was, I'm like, I wonder if that was done on purpose. Who knows? But Tortured Poets is my favorite album.
Yeah.
It's as a lyricist, it is, I mean, I could do a whole podcast just on that album.
Yeah.
What's your favorite album if you had to pick one? If I'm like, oh, which one do you want to listen to right now? What's your go-to?
Well, I think I might have told you this before, but also because of All Too Well, because I came in late, and because of the world we live in of streaming, and I'm actually, many songs I do not know what album they're from, which is kind of a great perspective because I pick and choose.
Right.
And, like I said, this is why we can't have nice things. I didn't hear that, at least until I moved to Burbank. I just didn't listen to Reputation when it came out. I didn't listen to Red when it came out. So right now I'd say Showgirl. But Showgirl and Tortured Poets are the only ones I got to experience as a Swiftie.
Right.
I got to experience in the way you're meant to experience it, which is, the whole day is all about that in the next couple of weeks. And Adam has this like funny thing that he said he saw me, I guess the day after it came out, and he's like, "How are you?" And he's like, imitates me. He's like, "Sorry, just Taylor," and like because I needed to run over to talk to somebody, and that. So what a joyful experience to have. But so those are the only two. And I, have played Tortured Poets so much that I've gotten sick of a lot of it in a way that I haven't gotten sick
What's
of
your
Showgirl.
favorite song on Tortured Poets, or top 3? Because it's such a hard pick.
These days, I would say Smallest Man Who Ever Lived is definitely part of my current rotation. I wait, what's the one about masturbating to Maddie Healy? I loved that one.
I didn't know any of them were about
Yeah,
masturbating to him.
come on, the one about He Sent Me Northern Lights. The song. Okay, you look shocked.
I'm clutching my pearls.
No, but then the one about the Sallys and the Lucys and the whatever. What's that one?
Is that Chloe, Sam, and
no, I do not like that one. But also, what's the one about that they say she's a monster and you can't go past her gate? I loved that one.
People are screaming in their cars right now at us.
I know. I'm deeply ashamed. I know the name
I'm deeply ashamed. I'm Mr. Lyrics.
But the titles, I couldn't tell you the subtitles of most of my books.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do certainly know the titles of all the Showgirl. I think it's not fair to us to judge us in that way because we're in the aftermath of Showgirl.
Yes, true.
And so everything else receded.
Because what's interesting is like we did that thing that most Swifties did, which is screenshot what your most listened to music was for the year and send it to your friend.
Yeah.
And mine was every month was
Taylor.
That's great. And then all the like the first 25 songs that I've listened to the most were all Taylor or whatever it is. And it's like we do listen to it so much, but Showgirl I couldn't believe how high Showgirl ranked, considering it was only out for a couple months before the year end. I'm like, what about, I was listening, I listen every day as much as possible, and I work for myself, so I do spend a lot of time listening to music or being in the car or
so
at the
October
gym.
10th.
Yeah.
And they do it December 1st.
Was it October 3rd or was it?
Oh, you're right. It was October 3rd. October 10th is when we went to the weird thing.
Oh, yeah.
So October 3rd to pretty much December 1st. Isn't that when they do the roundup?
Yeah. And it was outranking, like, listen, the number one song I've listened to for the year is Black Dog, the Black Dog.
That is probably actually my favorite from Tortured.
And that was a late discovery for me.
That was on the second. Yeah.
That was this year for me. That was after that was after the Eras tour for me.
Wow.
It was just one day clicked.
Yeah.
And I became obsessed, and I learned it on the piano, and which I can't really even sing it because it's like, let's talk about her voice for a moment.
Yep.
Because I've heard people critique her voice. I love your shock on that, because that's how I feel. I'm a singer.
Dare they?
I am a singer.
Yeah.
And she has such a lovely and versatile voice.
Yes.
I can't imagine what anyone, like someone said, oh yeah, she's not that good of a singer. I'm like, oh, were you thinking of Britney Spears, or Madonna? But we're talking about Taylor Swift, who can sing.
Yeah, I will say again, I don't know anything really about music beyond what I like. And I've had many experiences where I'm like, that person has an incredible voice, and everyone's like, that person is widely considered to have a terrible voice. So I just know that I love hearing it so much.
There's something so, I don't want to call it mainstream. There's something so pleasing.
Yes.
About her voice.
Yes.
It's just so pleasing and versatile.
Yes.
Because she can go from, the different ranges and the different, different parts of the voice and the different, go into head voice and go into, chest voice and do all that stuff and make it lyrical. Mariah Carey's like that too. She just really has a range and a versatility and uses her voice as a paintbrush for the songwriting. Because something Mariah never gets real credit for is the fact that she's written the most number one hits of any woman ever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, ever.
Well, Taylor must be close.
Not with number ones.
Are you kidding me?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because Mariah Carey has had the most number one hits of any female solo artist ever. And she's written all her songs. except one of those was not written by her. It was Jackson 5. But
Mm.
but my point, I know it is shocking because like Taylor's like up there with the Beatles and Elvis, but so's Mariah Carey. So, but but they use their voice as a paintbrush,
Yeah.
and they just layer it
Yeah.
in songs. That what's interesting for me was the Marjorie of it all.
Mhm.
Back to that,
Mhm.
I never realized Marjorie was singing in the song Marjorie.
She is?
Thank you.
Wait,
Yes.
what part?
You'll listen to it when you watch the
They
doc.
hear there's an opera, like she
Yes,
saved one of her
singing.
songs.
She's singing opera in the background.
Oh, that's so amazing.
And I never clocked it before. And it's just like, and so they play it while she's singing it on stage, and it just makes me cry.
Oh, that's
because
so
it's so
beautiful.
beautiful to have that connection with your grandmother. And they talk about, in that episode of the other people that have lost people during that tour or before the tour or whatever, and how that song really connects, and you then watch them singing it or performing it, and it's like that connective tissue that she's giving all of us.
Well, and I remember our friend Rebecca when she and I saw the movie, she like turns to me and she goes, "This is a woman singing about her grandmother on a stage. Like, how bold is that? Like, that's so." And we don't have time to keep getting into this, but like one of the other amazing things is that Taylor has embraced her uncoolness until it became cool.
Right.
She's uncool. She's dorky. She can't dance or whatever.
Yeah.
She sings endlessly and has talked endlessly about like not being cool, not having friends. And now Gigi Hadid is her best friend. You can't get cooler than that, right? Do you know what I'm saying?
I
cool
do.
in quotes.
I do. I don't particularly care for her. That's why I just rolled my eyes. But I do get what you're saying. She's a top model and a cool person.
If you wanted to go out in the world and to befriend the cliche cool people.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And it's like I think about that a lot too as somebody who sort of, I think a lot of us kind of grew up like cool was just a requirement. Like if you, that some of us it came more effortlessly.
And so I was going to say some of us actually were.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's there.
Yeah.
And to not be ashamed to embrace that and to share about that. And that anecdote about the friends at the mall, the anecdote about the friends at the mall.
Yes, but tell the viewers or the listen. Yeah.
So
because I hadn't heard that story as well told until you told it.
Well,
so please share it with people.
Well, so I don't actually know what age she was, but I believe she was like a freshman or sophomore in high school. I don't know. She met Abigail freshman year and things turned around. But she had these mean girl friends. She didn't know they were mean girls. And the day that she got to sing the Star Spangled Banner at some sporting event she was so excited about it. And she came home and she called her friends and said, "Can we go to the mall? I'm so excited I did this." And they said no. And then her mom, Andrea, goes, "Well, I'll take you to the mall." And they go to the mall and they're all there without her. And that's the day she wrote The Best Day, because Andrea took her and they went and they did all those things. And, because she has that line in The Best Day about like, how could my friends be so mean? I don't know who I'm going to sit with at school, all this stuff. And that I don't know anyone that can't relate to that story. We all have our version of going to the mall with our mom and everybody being there, and to use that, and to be able to be me and go, I bet those fucking girls are so sorry.
Totally.
They've been dining out on that their whole lives.
Yeah. Well, even you mentioned the song Mean and you said, it's not, one of your favorites or it's not the best song or whatever. I would say, especially for her early career, it was.
Oh, okay.
Because when I heard that later on, like more currently, I like you, I've gone back because my sister who loves country music, once I was in her car and she said, "You've got to hear this 16-year-old girl. She's so good." And she played a song. I couldn't tell you what it was, but my sister says it's probably Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
And I said, "She's a very talented songwriter, but she's not for me."
I love that.
and then when I was babysitting for this 12-year-old, she was listening to something over and over on her like iPad or the equivalent of an iPad back then. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, this is Taylor Swift. You have to watch this video. And I watched the video of You Belong to Me or whatever. And I just got it as like the outsider who just the wanting the person to see you.
Yes.
And wanting to be seen and know and being like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
That experience was my entire life of chasing unavailable men.
Right.
You know, and me being like, maybe I'm not the cheerleader, but like I can give, like what I can give is so much better. And why can't you see me?
Right.
And I was just like, I looked at that 12-year-old girl and I was like, you don't understand. That is such a good song. And I get her now.
Yeah.
And she was just like, that's because you're really just a 12-year-old girl inside.
True. About all of us.
And I said, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then when she was 14, her friends told me that in the car too. They were like, Neil, you're just a 14-year-old girl. And I'm like, yeah, hello.
We all are.
We all are.
Yeah.
And
except some
which
really
brings
straight
me
men.
to, you know, in the when we were watching the first or second episode of the documentary, there was we've been ruminating about like why this movement, what was the Eras Tour, what did it provoke in us and bring out and whatever. And one of the things they said was, and I don't remember, I think it might have been Taylor who said it, but it was like that there was a celebration of femininity without shame.
Yep.
And that hit home. Can you speak on that?
Yeah. I mean, I clocked that moment in the doc, and we need to clarify, I did not go to the Eras Tour. So this is something I have only experienced vicariously and, you know, through watching the footage. You know, I noticed it and I thought about it, and it how do I say it? It meant something for me to watch and know that other people experience that. That's something that I don't, like, I always experience, you know, like that. It didn't give me permission to experience that. That's not the thing that grabs me, but I appreciated that was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, see, for me, I guess, especially being male, it was, you know, I showed up in a pink shirt, a pastel pink shirt, and I was definitely not decked out like other people were. I was in Milan. I didn't bring makeup with me or anything. And I don't know if I was even called to do that anyway. But the men and the women there and everyone in between was celebrating. No one was celebrating masculinity. They were all celebrating their feminine side. And that it was okay. And it was safe. And it was appreciated and it was celebrated in a great way. And it didn't, when I went to that concert, I think I told you this, that the vibe and the culture of being in that crowd was everyone's holding a door open for you. Everyone's smiling. I made best friends with all the people around me. And it was like, you know, I went by myself, you know, and it was on my birthday. And I said, you know, during, I'm so depressed, I act like it's my birthday. They were all like, I'm so depressed, I act like it's his birthday. And they were like going crazy for me. It's like that culture is so special and unique. And I hadn't felt that in my life, except for when I first went to my first gay bar and gay club. Of being like this thing that you mask and you cover and you protect out in the world because it's looked down upon, and then you walk into a room of other people like you and it's celebrated. And as a gay man, I could be as feminine or as masculine or as whatever I want. I could put on a wig. I could do anything in that space. I could call everyone girl. I could say fierce. I could call you Mary, you know, whatever. And that's what the Eras phenomenon felt like for me and the Swiftie culture in general. We're all so supportive of each other. No one wants to tear anyone down. And where else in life is that? Like I said,
there's one place. Burbank.
Yeah.
I swear to God, people are so supportive
Stop
and
trying
joyous.
to make Burbank happen, Anna. No, I'm
I
just
don't
kidding.
want y'all to know, but like it's true. Because I experience that now, how different life can be when you're in a different environment.
Yeah.
Because each person influences the next. Obviously Taylor's the sun, but it filters down. It's like why companies with bad customer service, it filters from the top. It always does. So I know we have to wrap up.
No, we have 90.
Oh shit. Okay, I do have a heart out of sorts.
Okay, well, we'll work with it.
So, but what else? What else?
What else? Well, let me see here. What is your what would be your go-to anthem when you want to get pumped?
I mean, Getaway Car.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, when I have done cryo, have you ever done cryotherapy?
God, no. I hate the cold.
I do too.
You saw me today. You were wearing more layers than I was.
There's something about it that's different because I do contrast therapy every week pretty much, where you go back and forth between a 45-degree pool, a bath, and a sauna.
Oh my God.
But what can happen is you can have an association with a song. So basically, I used to have it with an MGMT song. I used to do cryotherapy and always play this one song. And so then you can, when you're nervous, play that song and bring back that feeling. And so Getaway Car was my, because it's 3 minutes cryotherapy. And now the only way really I can do contrast therapy is I blast her the whole time. And so I know that I'm going to get in the bath when a certain song comes on, and I'll be like, oh, it's whatever, I'm not meant to. Oh my God, it's, we can't, this is why we can't have nice things. Here I go.
Right.
And because they say when you're doing cold plunge, do your mantra or meditate. I don't need to. I got her.
Well, you are doing a mantra and a meditation on Taylor, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. What about Getaway Car pumps you?
Well, I mean, that song is. Have you ever seen the on social media they show the moment she figured that song out?
I probably did, and it's been a while, so I don't.
Yeah, there's just it's just a quick video. She's sitting with Jack Antonoff, and she's like, da, 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 and I stole the keys, and that was the last time you ever saw me.
Did, yeah.
And again, I don't know anything about music, so I don't know musically what's happening, but I have a feeling something very special musically is happening. And what I love about the lyrics too, or it's like I don't know. I kind of have heard which dude she's talking about, but I love this idea that we have this perception of her as, and the one she mocks in Blank Space, I would say, as oh, she just, she's man crazy, and then she gets dumped, and but I love this idea of her being like, bye, I'm leaving, and I'm in the getaway car with the new dude, and sorry, lock the door, whatever the thing is. I also, there's, we were screaming, go, 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 that part.
Right.
My son's favorite word is go, as you know.
Yeah.
And so when I'm driving with him, he'll go, 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 go.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
So as a mother of a potential Swiftie.
Yeah.
What has he shown interest?
No, not yet. And, his dad and I have different music taste, and his dad will play him. We try to balance it out. His dad plays him whatever the opposite of Taylor Swift is. And, but he's fine with me, me giving him that exposure. I do know because my friend has a son who is 4 or 5 months older, and I see he can comprehend things because my friend broke her leg, so I've been driving her son around, and he gets in the car, and I'm like, Alfie, do you like Taylor Swift? He's actually kind of conscious enough to, he doesn't really know. But it is kind of getting, I'm relishing the days where I can say sing the swear words, because those are going to end.
Yeah.
I don't want to, or Showgirl's got some racy parts.
Well, would for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And I mean, there's the 2 albums, so you can be playing the
I've never
PG.
even listened to the clean one.
Yeah, I don't listen to clean music. And actually, that girl I told you I babysat for, she was raised by a single mom, and she, the mom was always like, never edit
Yeah.
music or anything. She's like, play whatever you play in the car. She's like, it's cool. And I think it's I think it's important for kids to see art and hear art the way it was made and created. Do you think that there's Taylor is not over 50, but we relate so much to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a mother,
Mm-hmm.
but do you relate to or find anything inspirational about her as a mother?
That's interesting. I would say mostly the Andrea aspect, the way she talks about her own mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that level of not being embarrassed by your parents. It seems like she never had that phase.
Right.
And you know as a parent that one day, your kid's going to be like, ugh. And I love that, cuz like Andrea's not like cool mom.
Right.
She's not like Amy Poehler in Mean Girls.
Right.
And that she's always embraced that, like, is so inspiring. I mean, maybe she had a phase where she hated her mom. I don't think so. But in terms of, I mean, really, I think those lessons about resilience and about, I've talked today about, like, I'm in a sort of difficult period with my son because he's. But all parents tell you all phases are difficult.
I was just gonna
they're
say
just different.
They're just different, and some kids, this phase is where they're the most difficult.
Yeah.
But the next phase they're not, and then their friends are the ones that are difficult in the next phase, and so then you're watching the other mothers, be like, or fathers be like, I don't know what to do, and you're like, oh, my kid's fine right now,
and we had that. I mean, our son was just perfect.
Well, he's perfect.
He is perfect,
he is
but he's
adorable.
wild. And I was kind of saying this morning, but what's kind of cool about it, and this does come from Taylor, is that I can appreciate this difficult period because I know that because you start encountering parents and they're like, oh my God, I wish my kid would go back to 2. And you go, you don't actually remember the other parts, but I want to remember all of it. I'm grateful for the difficult. I wasn't yesterday when I was tripping on a, bowling alley, trying to save him from getting bowled upon. But it's like what I was saying about her, being down and out and coming back stronger than ever. If you handle adversity correctly, it really is the touchstone of spiritual growth. It really can change you for the better. And there was one more thing I wanted to say about her and adversity, and I lost it. Apologize.
It's okay. I was thinking also that while you were talking, and I was picturing you chasing him down the bowling alley, slipping and sliding and everything, of how relatable that was to other people.
I know so many people were like, oh, that's great.
How when you're going through it, it feels like you're going through it.
Yeah.
But to outside, I'm like, oh my God, that's been me before. Or like, I've totally been in a situation like that.
Yeah.
And that you handled it with grace because you pulled it back together. I've seen you around your son.
Yeah.
You weren't screaming and yelling. And
no.
You weren't laying a hand on him.
No.
You weren't like, you were handling it the way that the
best
you could.
Yeah.
But with love and with grace.
Yeah, mostly.
Even if it doesn't feel like that, it's like, push to a certain point, everyone gets to a place that they're not exactly like, oh, that wasn't my best moment.
Yeah.
But like, again, it's like relatable.
Yeah.
And like, that's where, even if, I don't have a child, even if I watched that, I would relate to it. Just like with Taylor, it's like, she's not a mom yet.
Right.
Yet.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's soon.
Yeah.
So you are a Travis Kelce fan.
I definitely wasn't at first.
Thank you. I wasn't either.
Oh my God. And I just was like, who is this thug who can't spell the word squirrel? He does not deserve to be in her orbit. And he's, and I really felt that he was using her.
Yeah.
it has obviously been extremely advantageous to him career-wise,
Of course.
beyond. But I loved what she said, I think in, episode 3 or whatever, like, he's not afraid of a big life. He, in a way, was the only person who could be there for her, because the people who are not afraid of a big life are often narcissistic and want the big life for themselves and couldn't, all the celebrities she has dated, they either, pulled a Joe Alwyn and couldn't handle the spotlight or whatever, or they couldn't handle her shining. And that there's obviously something so beautiful about, like, sure, I'm sure he's narcissistic. I'm sure, dude loves the spotlight too, but that he understands, like, she's better than him.
Yeah, and he builds he I wouldn't say builds her up because she doesn't need to be built up, but I would say he appreciates that she is who she is and
Yeah.
that she's capable, and he's in awe of her.
Yeah.
And that is cool. I was definitely not a fan at first. I
Yeah.
thought he was this big oaf.
Yeah.
And I was just like, she needs someone who like actually is more cultured, and
Yeah.
she needs that. And I was absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
Because he treats her the way I would want a man to treat her.
Yep.
And you could tell she doesn't have the ick. Like
Yeah.
she's in love.
Yeah.
And she's happy.
Yeah.
And they have a healthy relationship, and he's family oriented and she's family oriented. And
Yeah.
like there's just a lot of specialness that's going on in that relationship for sure. What's interesting is someone brought up to me yesterday that their daughter said that she diminishes herself around him. And I couldn't disagree more. And I said, first of all, I can't even think of a time that's ever been there. But like, if anything, with Joe, she diminished herself and hid from the world and played small to be with him. But like, I feel like she's living her best life. What you might be picking up on is she's humble. And whether she's with a dancer or a singer or the choreographer or whatever, she treats everyone as an equal around her.
Yep.
So she's not diminishing that. It's like, oh, like you're just a dancer and I'm Taylor Swift. Like she's just like she's not diminishing herself by being like, oh, we're like, we're humans.
Yeah.
Like let's, connect or whatever. So yeah, I'm glad you made that face, because that's the face I made when she said, "Oh, my daughter said she diminishes."
Even make sense.
No, I'm like,
don't know.
well, she said it was a TikTok she saw.
Oh. Well, and that is an interesting thing. Something I was just thinking about. Some clips capture weird things. Did you see the one of her trying to talk to Sabrina Carpenter recently?
No.
It's quite upsetting.
Okay.
It's like Sabrina's talking to somebody, and Taylor's like trying to talk to them, and Sabrina's kind of blowing her off. And I'm like, how dare she? And I don't know what was happening, but clips can show weird things.
Absolutely. And I mean, you've been in the world of entertainment for so long and behind the scenes of so much.
I think that any of us could be caught on video doing something that is not representative. It looks different than what it is.
Right.
But yeah, I know from being in, potentially like being in the kind of relationships that she was in before with certain people, and then the difference between being with somebody who nurtures, who pours into you, you can't help but be bigger and more successful when you have that at home.
Right.
And that's what I think he's doing for her.
Yeah.
Whether he can spell squirrel or not.
Right. I think, the big takeaway for me lately too is, and I kind of touched on this a little in our pre-conversation earlier, is that someone being genuine is clear and obvious when someone's being genuine to most people. It's a vibe, it's an energy, and people appreciate it and gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
And you can tell from those documentaries that's not edited to make her look good.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's capturing who she actually is.
Yeah.
And how genuine and that she is. And to me, genuine equals success, always. And that's why in our pre-conversation, what I was saying, for people that weren't there, is that, you know, there's a lot of thought that goes into this podcast, and should it be this, should it be that?
Yeah.
And then I just said, it's just got to be me. It's
Yeah.
got to be genuine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to be something I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. But that actually makes me think of something that a recent thing that I think I just saw on social media, where I don't know if you've ever seen this clip, where she says, my friends when I was growing up were watching Disney and I was watching Behind the Music, wondering, why do people change? Why do people lose touch with reality when they get famous?
Mm.
And I was like, I'm misquoting her, but I was like, that explains you, because you watched that and you vowed not to change. Because obviously, like, you know, we've all interacted with very famous people and not so famous people. I'll say the meanest celebrity I've ever
Are the D-listers.
Lisa Loeb is
Yeah.
abusive.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've interacted with, you know, Tom Cruise, who's lovely, you know. So but that also does remind me of one final thing I do want to say. I have a friend who worked for Lady Gaga, and she told me that millions of things that Gaga said were what she intended came through the fans. And it was like, oh, yeah, that is what I meant. That is what I meant.
Right.
And you've got to believe a lot of that is true. People are reading. There is no way that every single fan theory came from Taylor.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw one the other day. I don't even remember what it was, but I was just like, girl.
Yeah.
Like, girl.
Yeah.
Talk about reaching.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's a whole nother level to Taylor. And, you know, we need to wrap up. But the whole Easter egg phenomena of how, like, did I ever send you one of the Fate of Ophelia Easter egg videos?
I'm sure you did. You've sent me a million.
Well, yeah, I sent you everything.
Yeah.
There's like almost 100 Easter eggs in there. Things that our naked eye can't catch or can't see. That are like, oh, and she wrote a name behind the thing, and and that name is this, and you're like, oh my God, yeah, she didn't write that there she didn't accidentally write that name there.
Yeah.
Like that, she's the director. She came up, you know, yeah. So the fact that, like, what other artist, what other genius, can create not only this body of music and entertainment and everything, but also be able to hide messages in all of it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I will always, I always use The Usual Suspects as my example of people want to feel smart. Nothing feels better than figuring something out. And I was like, my thing, because The Usual Suspects, which is a movie I love, is really boring for like 98% of it. And then Kaiser Sose at the very end, you're like, oh my God, I get it. And I'm like, you let people feel smart and they're going to love it. And so there is something, you know, just so genius about that, about making mystery in everything, but also making, and this is her true thing, is how does she create this co-obsession where you obsess over her and what she experienced in her life, but you also obsess over how this relates to your own life. And I do think the Easter eggs are a huge part of that, because why would we care so much about her life? Who cares about any one person's life this much?
Yeah. We do.
We do.
Because we are Swifties.
Over 50.
Over 50 and proud. I'm proud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming today.
It's
and
so
for
fun.
being my first guest.
I love it.
We're on this journey together.
We
and
sure
it's
are.
been fabulous. And we will be dropping more episodes soon.
Yeah.
And I look forward to how this unfolds, because it's a mystery. We don't know. Again, like, we don't know where this podcast goes or what happens with it. We just know that we have some ideas of who will be on the podcast and what celebrities we...
And by the way, maybe you guys need to go back and listen and see if there are any Easter eggs in this.
Because there just might be.
There might be.
There might be. All right. Well, thank you again,
Thanks for
Anna.
having me.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to Swiftie Over 50 podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, I'd really appreciate it if you'd follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leaving a rating or a review is one of the best ways for fans to discover the show. And also another way is to tell your friends who are Swifties, whether they're over 50 or not, where they can find this episode or share it with them. You can also find us on YouTube or follow us on social media at Swiftie Over 50 Podcast, and the 50 is the number 50. And there I will have clips, updates, and behind the scenes content. Until next time, keep finding joy, friendship, and celebrating every era. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Swiftie Over 50 is an unofficial fan podcast created by fans for fans. It's not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by Taylor Swift, Taylor Nation, TSA Rights Management, or any other affiliated companies. All trademarks and copyrights remain the property of their respective owners. Bye!